Thank you, Senator Langford. Senator Romney, you are recognized for your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must admit that I have found this hearing to be stunning in that it seems, Mr. Secretary, that you're proud of the progress being made by the administration, that things are going well at the border. And I look at this chart that was prepared by Senator Johnson, and I see an extraordinary crisis. I mean, do you recognize this as an alarming crisis?
Senator, I look at immigration as a challenge that has been persistent for many years.
Of course, but we were running along here, and now we're seeing apprehensions at the border that have skyrocketed, and just as alarming, perhaps even more so, is the chart that came from Senator Portman, which is unaccompanied children who are being led into the country, an explosion in that number. I mean, is this not a massive failure that would suggest that the administration needs to take immediate action to remedy what we're seeing here?
Senator, we have taken immediate action with respect to the unaccompanied children, and we've made
is the number coming down?
And we are addressing that challenge with increasing efficiency every single day.
Increasing efficiency to get them moved to other parts of the country and with families and out of these crowded facilities. I understand that. I'm delighted that we're not having kids sleeping on floors and in cages. That totally. But the number coming into our country and being released into our country is at a skyrocketed level, as is this. The question is, do you have plans to do something dramatically different such that those numbers come down to an acceptable level? Because you can imagine this overwhelms our Border Patrol agents. I mean, if they've got numbers like this they're dealing with, this means that the drug cartels can be smuggling through drugs because our folks are taking care of kids, they're taking care of people coming in illegally. Do we have plans to dramatically address what's happening here?
2 points, if I may, Senator, both of which are extremely important. The laws of our country provide certain procedures and certain rights for children who arrive unaccompanied and have claims of asylum, who claim fear of persecution by reason of their membership in a particular social group.
I understand.
So we
that.
have an obligation.
But we were turning those kids away under Title 42, and the new administration came in and said we won't turn them away. We'll let them come in, and I presume as a result of that, the numbers went through the roof.
Senator, we are addressing the numbers consistent with the law.
Well,
under the trafficking victim.
Propose a new law. I mean, we have a crisis both for children. I mean, you talk about the humanitarian concerns of kids that come here, and I understand we've addressed that.
These are children.
But you're addressing that. They're children. Think of them coming here all the way from Honduras. Think of the trial of going across the entire country of Mexico to get here, and then not being able to come into the country. Yeah, let's put this up.
Senator,
I mean, this is a crisis for children. The fact that these kids are coming here making that kind of journey, and they're not going to be allowed to stay in this country.
Senator, if I may, we're the United States of America. 90% of these children have a parent or legal guardian in the United States, and they have a claim of fear of persecution.
So this is not a problem then. Your view is that this is the way it's going to be.
If I may, Senator, they have a claim under the law for humanitarian relief, either their claim of asylum or their claim for special immigrant juvenile status.
Yeah.
And we can, in fact, meet the challenge.
Yeah. What I find astonishing, Mr. Chairman, is that we have the secretary responsible for securing our border and our immigration system who doesn't recognize these charts as being a problem. And there are human beings behind these numbers. And it is not saying, hey, we've got to make some changes immediately. I find that extraordinary and extremely damning. Let me turn to a different topic. And that is, some years ago, immigration was, well, if you will, the huddled masses yearning to be free. And we were encountering people who wanted to come to this country, and we were able to offer them hope for a better life. Today, increasingly, much of what we're seeing here is a result of cartels that have learned how to take advantage of current law in the United States to defeat our systems and not provide the people that are being brought here the opportunity that they were seeking. I think there's an urgent need to rethink our immigration system to make sure that we recognize we're dealing with a different circumstance in many cases than we were before. And a discussion of root causes, we need to address the root causes in Latin America. Gosh, we've got root causes in our own country. We've got challenges here we can't solve, we've been working on for years. The countries around the world who have problems that we can't solve all the problems of the world, let alone the problems in Latin America and the problems here in our country. Do you agree with this, that we have to focus on enforcing our border, finishing the border barrier, using the technology? By the way, if it's technology, use technology, but somehow deal with this in an urgent and aggressive manner.
Senator, we are indeed focused on securing our border and, in fact, using technology as the most effective or one of the most effective ways of doing it, number one. Number two, I do agree with you that we do need change in the law, and that's precisely why I hope that Congress does indeed pass immigration reform. And thirdly, these are people yearning to be free, and what the cartels do, unfortunately, is too often control the means by which they arrive, not the reasons why they flee and why they seek relief, humanitarian relief in the United States under the laws that Congress passed many, many years ago.
You indicated last time we were together that you would study E-Verify. Senator Portman and I, among others, have proposed a mandatory E-Verify system in our country. Do you believe that's a good idea? Florida is using that effectively. Should we have an E-Verify system for our country that's mandatory?
Senator, I believe in E-Verify. I think it is an effective tool. Its effectiveness grew under my administration as a director of U.S. Citizens.
Should it be mandatory, and so that
Whether
our businesses are required to check the legal status of people they're hiring?
Whether it should or should not be mandatory is actually something that I have not yet determined.
I'll look forward to that determination. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Romney. I have a quick question because I think it's we should know this as the committee. Senator Romney talked about the number of apprehensions that are occurring right now. That chart, if you could help me, because when I was down on the border, I understand that we're apprehending a lot of folks from Mexico, single adults who are coming across. They're being expelled from the country, but then they come back in a few days. You catch them, they go back. Is that reflected in those numbers? Give some clarity to us if you have an opportunity to see that chart.
So it's very difficult for me to see, and forgive me with my diminishing vision, but I do understand your question. What is likely measured is the number of encounters, and the number of encounters probably includes a great deal of duplication because there is recidivism. Thank you. There is recidivism when an individual is expelled under Title 42, a single adult. We have seen it, that same individual return only to be expelled again, and that's one of the things that we're looking at in terms of a consequence regime.
Mr. Chairman, I've got all the numbers. I'd like to enter them in the record. In the second round of questioning, I'll spout some of those things off. Okay,
that's fine. Senator Carper, you're recognized for your question.
Thanks.